watertight sunroom in Worcester County, Maryland. It's Sunday night, here for another remote Sunday songs. Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. I'm going to welcome everybody in a second and say a few words to begin the show with some housekeeping stuff, but I feel like playing right off the top here. So why don't you just toss down in the comments where you guys are watching from tonight, and I'll just get started playing here. This is a song which if you've been following the news at all for the last week, I think you'll understand why I'm opening the show with this song. I was falling dead in battle. Must have been Tuesday, I don't know the date. I did everything everyone asked for, but I'll say where I'll be late. Many dead of my comrades all look the same in this place. Won't you bury me far from my uniform, so God might remember my face? Do not bother with Congress, with the rich, or with the rest. I fought their battles in this world. I'll not fight for them in the next. Do not find me justice, just find me brave, and then bury me far from my uniform, so God might remember my face. Oh, my mother, you'll cry for me. Take me out of your dreams that I'm in. You must promise never to think of what is not and what could have been. I'll not return to your table, so don't save me, please. Just bury me far from my uniform, from the Iron Cross medal I would have worn, from the statues that sisters and widows mourn, from the newspaper clippings and microphone, from Geneva, The Hague, and Nuremberg, from the sex of this world that I'll no longer taste. Won't you bury me far from my uniform, so God might remember my face? I know God will remember my face. Merciful God, please remember my face. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to Sunday Songs. I'm just going to jump in the comments really quick to make sure there's no glaring problems with the sound. Doesn't appear to be. Here's another, I've been thinking about the news all week. That was a song of mine called Bury Me Far From My Uniform off an album called Messenger. And this is a song, it's not one of mine, very famous song by a guy named Eric Bogle. There's a iconic version of this song done by the Pogues, I think on their album Rum, Sodomy, and the Lash. I played this song, I believe I played it in commemoration for Memorial Day of this year, but for obvious reasons, I think it fits tonight as well. I think this is one of the most devastating songs about the realities of war that you could hear. Not that I would know, but rings true to me. It's called The Band Played Waltzing Matilda. When I was a young man, I carried my pack, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Maury's green basin to the dusty outback, I watched my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat, and they gave me a gun, and they sent me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship sailed away from the quay. And amidst all the tears, the shouts and the cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. How will I remember that terrible day when the blood stained the sand and the water, and how in that place that they call Silver Bay we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was ready, he'd primed himself well. He showered us with bullets, and he rained us with shells. And in 5 minutes flat, he'd blown us all to hell. Nearly blew us right back to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. And we buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs, and it started all over again. Now those who were living did their best to survive in that mad world of dust, blood, and fire. In 7 long weeks I kept myself alive as the corpses around me piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me ass over tits, and when I awoke in my hospital bed and saw what it had done, Christ, I wished I were dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying. And no longer I'll go waltzing Matilda to those green bushes so far and near. For to hump tents and pegs, a man needs 2 legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. So they collected the crippled, the wounded, and maimed, and they sent us right back to Australia. The legless, the armless, the blind and insane, those proud wounded heroes of Sawa. And as our ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where my legs used to be and thought, Christ, there was nobody waiting for me to grieve or to mourn or to pity. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried me down the gangway, but nobody cheered. They just looked and they stared, and they turned their faces at me. And now every April I sit on my porch and I watch the parade pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving their past days of glory. I see their old faces, all twisted and torn, the forgotten heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask me, what were they fighting for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays Waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But now every year their numbers get fewer. Someday no one will march here at all. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, who will go waltzing Matilda with me? Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, who will go waltzing Matilda with me? That's an Eric Bogle song. The band played Waltzing Matilda. Let's see where you guys are watching from tonight. As always with Sunday Songs, if you're coming here tonight for the first time, first of all, thank you for coming to Sunday Songs. Thank you for trusting the advice of whatever strange friend told you to come by Sunday Songs to check out our little community here. What we're going to do tonight, I'm going to play a bunch of my own songs. We're going to read a poem for Softboy Poem Corner, one of our segments. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to take requests and your questions in the comments. As always, we really dig it when you can tell a friend about the show. If you could just text a link to the show to a friend right now who you think might dig it, let them know that there's a free show going on right now. That always helps a lot. So thank you for spreading the word about the show. Now let's see where you guys are watching from tonight. Chad, one of our regulars, is checking in from Elko, Nevada. Barb is checking in from Pittsburgh. My man Kevin Briley, one of our regulars, checking in from Bakersfield. Let's see. All right. David is watching from Sao Paulo, watching live. I appreciate you, David. Doug is checking us out from Bellingham, Washington, the Athens, Georgia of the Pacific Northwest. Phil's bummed that we're not going to have any piano cam tonight because I'm playing in a remote location. This is why I did so many piano songs the week before I left. My man Walter Duden Donnie is watching from Iowa City. Iowa City, I used to come there and play your place called The Mill, and now The Mill is closed. One of the many nightclub victims of COVID. Bradley's checking us out from Nicaragua, San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. And we got quite the international show going on tonight. Christopher is checking us out from Burlington, Vermont. As always, our man Brian Sauer is checking us out from Bellevue, Kentucky. Our old standby Emily Feld is here. This is wonderful. Let's see. Oh no, this must be one of our Australian listeners. Lockdown means I finally get to enjoy a drink during Sunday Songs while still working. You know, your boss could be watching this, Rob. You better watch out, man. All right. Nathan says, live from West Virginia, get back down here soon. I am trying to get back to West Virginia soon. I think we're going to try and play Charleston, that place, for the radio, for the NPR show Mountain Stage. Hopefully we're going to do that. I've played that show on every album I've ever put out. They've been very kind to me. So I think this would be like my 7th appearance there or something crazy like that. I want to play for you guys. This song's been on my mind all week, not because of the news, but just because I always think all week about what I'd like to play, and this tune is definitely one of them.
As the only child for 100 miles, living in the land of plenty, you can raise your cup anytime you want, never find it empty. But your plate was flush and you had so much, while others had not any. As you lay in bed where they shaved your head, now you're one of many. Oh, now you're one of many. Well, it was hard to breathe when you knew no need. The crown it lay so heavy. At night you slept underneath your bed, both your pistols ready. But they stole your robes, now your clothes won't sell for a penny. You're free to rest your naked chest, now you're one of many. Oh, now you're one of many. The sirens cried in the afternoon. Did your mouth go dry? Did your blood run blue? Was it louder than a drum in an empty room? Did it strike so hard? As it rang so true? As a traveler in the wider world, the road was never friendly. So you turned around, you were homeward bound at the tender age of 20. When you arrived, you cried to find your mother had no memory. Once you were her only child, now you're one of many. Oh, now you're one of many.
Thank you.
I woke up after breakfast, I left her bedroom late. The streets were filled with strangers, half expecting a parade. I never saw it coming as the first applause began. Then the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Silver on my fingers, sugar on my tongue. My father stood behind me and he asked what I'd become. I said I speak a language that you'll never understand. Then the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Blues came down, blues came down. They say that truth and justice must be their own reward. I grew rich pretending, while the honest all went poor. Don't you play dumb about it when you're on that witness stand. While the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Yeah, the blues came down on the heels of a marching band.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to play you a tune now that is off my most recent record called The Diving Sun. That's the name of the record. And it's funny. Every time you put out an album, as the maker of the album or the writer of the songs, you always think you know what song everyone's going to gravitate towards on the album, and you're almost never right. And then it always tends to be the song that you expect the least, that people gravitate towards a lot. And the song I'm going to play for you now, I didn't expect for this to be the song for people to request a lot, but this is the song that they liked. And so it's a funny thing. You know, it shows that maybe if you're a person that creates a thing, that you're far from the best person to make a value judgment as to its worth one way or the other.
Do I know that face, or is it just the light? Did I hold your hand in another life? I want many coats just to brave the wild. I've been 1,000 men, I've been a single child. Look out, Desdemona, your father saw you smile. Yes, I know that laugh. Yes, the credits fade from the way I bleed. I believe I know that blade. I hope my dying words, they keep you awake like a golden rule you just can't obey. Look out, Desdemona, you're not too young to pay. I know your secret, thought I could keep. Do you see that moon? Do you see those stars? They have never changed. I have strayed so far, the light just lays itself on your long white neck like it's softly dead on the night we met. Look out, Desdemona, this is all we get. Look out, Desdemona, this is all we get.
Thank you. Let's see where else you guys are watching from tonight. Where the hell are y'all watching from tonight? Here's a new one. I don't think I've seen this before. Don Stalker. What a horrible name. I'm sorry, Don. I didn't mean it that way. If this is your real name, Don, it's just weird in the internet. Just seeing it there on the internet. No offense, Don. I'd love to join you in the Temescal Valley in California sometime to drink some mezcal. Matthew Boyarski is raising a beer in Philly. Thanks for doing that, brother. Oh, wow. Look at this. Hey, Joe. Watching in Burndale, Mississippi because we had to flee Hurricane Ida, which is currently battering the Louisiana coast. Can you please play the flood in color for us tonight? Well, man, it is not quite time for requests, but I tell you what, when you phrase it like that, I would be hard-pressed to not honor your request. Wow. I hope you and yours are safe. I guess it's that time of year, huh? Well, Joe, here's a song that, here's a song, it sounds like you could have been singing earlier today.
Clap of lightning, high awaken to a foot of water standing in my basement. Started rising, it took me under. The flood has come. This is not history in black and white now. In a perfect storm, there isn't any high ground. The end of childhood, the end of summer, the flooding comes. They tried to warn me, I wouldn't listen. And now all at once I'm drowning in my kitchen. My legs are broken from treading water. The flood has come, the flood has come. I tried to bargain, I tried to reason, but the sky was deaf, the rain was never ceasing. It's not some cheap bed I can cover the flooding color, the flooding color. Listen close now, I was dead wrong to think that things could work themselves out in the long run. Pay attention, heed the thunder, the flood is coming, the flooding color.
That one goes out to Joe and his family, who are trying to outrun Hurricane Ida. I wish you guys all the best. Don, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break balls on your name, man. It's just sometimes on this show, we have people that make fake avatar names, and I thought that yours might have been that. I apologize, man. I'm not looking to take a piss on anybody who's watching this show. Let's see. Hey, our buddy Pratik is back watching. How you doing, Pratik? Thanks for coming out and watching tonight. Okay, I want to play you guys a song tonight. I've told you on the last couple of shows, there's been this album by the Killers that I got to play on called Pressure Machine that just came out. And what's really interesting about the album, they're obviously more of like a pop rock, well, like rock outfit, you know, kind of pop music deal. And but this album has a lot of it's a lot of experimentation for them into the Americana music, roots music kind of palette of sounds. And because of that, a lot of the songs are, I think, eminently coverable by a guy like me who plays in this song. I wanted to play you a tune off that record that I think is great. They sent me these songs in January of this year, and I can just remember listening to all of them, trying to figure out what I was going to play on it, and none of them were sequenced in order. None of the songs on the album itself, there's a lot of spoken word pieces by different characters that live in this town of Nephi, Utah, that weren't part of the songs I received. So it was interesting to listen to it all separated, and then when the album came out, it was really interesting to listen to like the narrative that went through the whole thing. And this is a beautiful song off the album. I think this might be the album opener. I forget. I think it might be.
The parking lot is rammed with shotgun pickup trucks. At the Jones rubber plant, where all the guys end up. Beer drinking Boy Scouts living life like they ain't stuck in this quicksand town with their girls in a sling. I'm in my bedroom now, on the verge of a terrible thing. Round here we all pick up our cross and pray on his holy name. But the cards that have been dealt will get you thrown out of the game. Hey mama, can't you see your boys wrapped up in a strangle silk in this cobweb town where culture is king? I'm in my bedroom now, on the verge of a terrible thing. I close my eyes and think of the water down at the Salt Creek when I was young. Down at Old Mill Park, half the town's in tow to crown the bathing beauty of the rodeo, while her mother fights back tears of joy. Young cowboy gives the nod. The chute flies open, the bull draws blood, and the gift is accepted by God. The chute opens, the bull draws blood, and the gift is accepted by God. In this barbed wire town with barbed wire dreams, I'm in my bedroom now, on the verge of a terrible thing. I close my eyes and think of the water down at the Salt Creek when I was young. I close my eyes and think of the water down at the Salt Creek when I was young.
All right. There's a little bit of the Killers' new record for you. It's a really good record. If you haven't gone to listen to Pressure Machine, their latest release, obviously I'm biased because they let me play on the thing, but it's really good. I got a text this week. I got a text right after Sunday Songs last week from a songwriter friend, a very, very good songwriter that you would know, who said, it was a text out of the blue with a picture of the album cover, and it said, "Have you listened to this record yet, and has it changed your life?" And I thought he was texting it to me because he knew that I'd played on it, and we started to talk, and it turned out he didn't know that I played on it. He was just blown away by this album out of the blue. And so I highly recommend Pressure Machine by The Killers. Go check it out as soon as you can. Okay, it's time for America's favorite time to cry, Softboy Poem Corner. Okay, this poem was recommended by a listener. Maybe the reason that I'm getting a few less poems these days in my inboxes is because I'm terrible at giving credit to the people that send me these wonderful poems, and nothing has changed this week. I don't know if I got this via Instagram DM or via email, but it's a great poem, and thank you to whoever sent it to me. It is by the poet Alex Dimitrov, entitled Monday. I was just beginning to wonder about my own life, and now I have to return to it, regardless of the weather or how close I am to love. Doesn't it bother you sometimes what living is, what the day has turned into? So many screens and meetings and things to be late for. Everyone truly deserves a flute of champagne for having made it this far, though it's such a disaster to drink on a Monday. To imagine who you would be if you hadn't crossed the street or married, if you hadn't agreed to the job or the money, or how time just keeps going. Whoever agreed to that has clearly not seen the beginning of summer, or been to a party, or let themselves float in the middle of a book where, for however briefly, it's possible to stay longer than you should. Unfortunately for me and you, we have the rest of it to get to. We must pretend there's a blue painting at the end of this poem, and every time we look at it, we forget about ourselves. And every time it looks at us, it forgives us for pain. Well, I'd say that's pretty dang good. I'd never heard of that poet before, but man, if you can write something like that, you're in my good graces, I'll tell you that. What songs do you guys want to hear tonight? Throw down in the comments any requests or questions that you have. I'd love to get to them. Yeah, so Matt says, I listened to Pressure Machine after you mentioned it and think it's their Nebraska album, a la Springsteen. Yeah, that would definitely be, I mean, Springsteen has definitely always been an influence of him as a songwriter, and he wears it a little bit more on his sleeve here, but you know, I still think it's his own thing. I think it's a great album. Do you think Brandon Flowers is here silently listening in? I don't know, man. Stranger things have happened. So Phil says, that poem sums up Sunday Songs' impact on our pandemic week. Sunday Songs is our flute of champagne. Man, that is quite the compliment, Phil. Thank you very much. All right, what do you guys want to hear? All right, there's a couple here for Deep Dark Wells. I don't think I've played Deep Dark Wells in a while, so let's do that. This is a song I've been covering for years. It's not mine, but I've been covering this song for a decade now. I love it. It's by a guy named Harvey Thomas Young. And Harvey wrote this song for his brother who was in prison at the time.
dark wells comes pure clean water, and the ice will melt as the day gets hotter and the night grows old, as the sun climbs into the sky. When now is then, and tomorrow's coming, where you been starts meaning something. As long as you can, just keep stumbling ahead. And as long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. You can start all over again. From deep dark wells comes pure clean water, and the ice will melt as the day gets hotter and the night grows old, as the sun climbs into the sky. And as long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. As long as you're not finished, you can start all over again. You can start all over again.
Thank you for the request, Kevin. Andrew says, have you read the short fiction of Raymond Carver? Your work and his strike me as thematic second cousins. I read a lot of Carver in my late 20s. And yeah, I mean, I tried to steal as much from him as I could. I'm sure many, if not most, if not all people watching this know who Raymond Carver is. But if you don't, he is a very famous American writer, now deceased, who was most famous in, I believe his heyday was like the 70s, 80s. Am I wrong? He was most famous for popularizing short stories as a medium. And he's a very popular collection. I'd say his most popular collection of short stories is called What I Talk About When I Talk About Love, or What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. And my favorite short story of his is a short story named Cathedral. And I would highly recommend to anyone here who has never read Raymond Carver before, go read Cathedral by Raymond Carver. It's an absolutely singular story. I've never read a short story like it before. It has to do with the disgruntled husband kind of reluctantly welcoming one of his wife's friends over to their house, and it turns out that the friend is blind, and after his wife goes to bed, they're watching a show about cathedrals, and they both get really stoned, and the fellow who's blind asks him to take his hands and show him what a cathedral is, like in the air. I guess that's a spoiler alert if if you haven't read Cathedral before, but it's a pretty popular work. I'm sure many of you have read it before, and if you haven't, definitely go check it out. And just because I spoiled what happened at the end of it there doesn't mean that this story is actually going to be spoiled. That's not what's affecting about it at all. So, Andrew, I still don't have the right guitar for Gentle Few because I'm in the same place as I was last week, but I promise to have that guitar ready to go next week when I'm back in the studio. I think I played Dodge in the Wind last week, so I'll I don't know what's going on in the chat here. Maybe there's some Finnish hate being thrown out there. But let's see. Do I know? Eric he said, I hate to request a cover, but I'm going to keep asking you for a song. Anything from Closing Time. I usually play this on a piano. Let me see if I can play this on guitar. All right, this is the opening song off of Tom Waits' opening album. So this is the first song on his debut, and what a debut it is. This is for Eric.
Well, my time went so quickly, I went lickety-splicking out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. Now the sun's coming up, I'm riding with lady love. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, and I lead the parade, just wishing I'd stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, let me tell you that the feeling's getting stronger. Now it's 6 in the morning, gave me no warning, I had to be on my way. With the lights all a-flashing, the trucks all a-passing, I'm on my way home to your place. And now the sun's coming up, I'm riding with lady love. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, as I lead the parade, just wishing I'd stayed a little longer. Oh Lord, let me tell you that the feeling's getting stronger. Now the sun's coming up, I'm riding with lady love. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, as I lead the parade, just wishing I'd stayed a little longer. Oh, let me tell you that the feeling's getting stronger.
I hope I didn't miss a verse in there. I think I did, but thank you for the request. That's beautiful. All right, you guys want to hear something hopeful? You got it. Jason Harper's here. He fell asleep putting his son to bed. Dude, the key when you fall asleep putting the kids to bed, you got to just stay asleep, man. Because now you're going to be up till 1 in the morning, bro. Christopher, I would play Bright Beginnings, but that's on the same guitar as alternate tuning guitar as Gentle Few. Sure, now he wants to hear the measure. You got it. This is a hopeful song. I'd agree with that. Always want to mention to you guys that this is the week that I'm heading back to play some shows. IRL, in real life, man. I'm going to be coming through Portsmouth, New Hampshire on Wednesday in just a couple days. Then Cambridge, Massachusetts. And then I'm playing Levon Helm Studios in Woodstock. The Park City show, there's been some changes to when I'll be playing. That says Wednesday there, but it looks like I'll be playing on Friday now. They've really changed things up with their COVID protocols. So I'm going to be playing a set and doing some podcast stuff there for the Working Songwriter, but I think it's all going to be that Friday. So I need to change that on the website. They just got a hold of me and let me know that because of COVID protocols, the whole snow globe has been shaken at this point for that show. Then I'll be coming through the Turf Club in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'll be coming through Fitzgerald's in Berwyn, Illinois, and the Stoughton Opera House in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And then I got a few more shows to announce here soon. As always on Sunday Songs, we love it when you can hit our virtual tip jar. How do I do this? Right here. If you can hit PayPal or Venmo with by buying a ticket or sending a tip, always helps out the show. Thank you for everyone who always does that. It makes a huge difference for me. And as always, if you're not in a place to contribute in that way for the show, no problem. I'll still be here every Sunday night. Okay, you wanted to hear a hopeful song? What's that supposed to mean? What's this whole show? Just a big bummer, man? That's all right. That's what I tend to write towards anyway.
Every inch of anguish laid out side by side cannot make a full yard in the measure of our lives. Every coin of sorrow weighed upon the beam rises when the far side is faded by our dreams. Well, the night is rich as we start to look around. Yes, I believe it is as we pause to hear the sound. All we lost is nothing what we found. All we lost is nothing what we found. Every dying ember, every setting sun cannot quench the din on the race we have run. Every paper dollar accounted over twice cannot buy our gladness, cannot pay our price. Well, the night is rich as we stop to look around. Yes, I believe it is as we pause to hear the sound. All we lost is nothing what we found. All we lost is nothing what we found.
that's as hopeful as it's going to get on this live stream. I'll tell you that, you guys. All right, let's pick one more tune to knock on here. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, I should mention, if you're coming to the shows this week, regarding the Sunday Songs Patch Club, if you're coming out for one of our secret patches, I'm really hoping we're going to get the patches delivered in time. It's going to be, we're really going to be splitting hairs with UPS as to whether the patches will make it for this particular run of shows. That being said, if they don't make it, you have my word. I'm gonna grab addresses from you guys who asked for one of these patches, and I'll mail you one. Other than that, going forward, I'll have them for you in general. Let's see. Okay, what do you guys want to hear for the last one? Let's see here. All right, Ray wants to hear The Servant Says. I don't think I've played that one in a while. Christopher could let us know if I have or not, but you got it. I'm going to have to play this one off the top of my head. I think I can remember all the lyrics, Ray. Thanks for coming to Sunday Songs tonight. I am going to go play some concerts in real life this week. I hope to see you at one of those, or I hope to see one of your friends that you tell to come see the show. But if I don't, I'll be here next Sunday night. As I've told you before, we still haven't booked a show on a Sunday night yet. So, and that's for, that is not a coincidence. All right, this song's for Ray, and I'll see you guys next week.
There's a bird fair and gold, whom our owners do hold. She refuses to make them a sound. How it pains them to think that for me she does sing, while I carry their riches around. I might work in their fields, prepare them their meals. I might carry the letters they send. There's a treasure I know buried deeply below that will shatter the shovels of men. There are children of theirs in the bedrooms upstairs. I've taught them their letters and words. They refuse to be heirs and inherit their share of a fortune that they never earned. I might sleep in their fold, do as I'm told. I might shepherd the young that they tend. But there's a silence I leave in the spaces between that will shadow the lessons of men. I might shackle the hands they condemn and handle the money they lend. I might bleed on the shores they defend. There's a treasure I know buried deeply below that will shatter the shovels of men. There's a bird fair and gold, whom my owners do hold. She refuses to make them a sound.
Thank you for coming to Sunday Songs this week. I hope to see you out there on the road. I hope if you're not local to one of those shows coming up, that you'll tell a friend who is local to come out and check it out. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week for Sunday Songs. Peace. Have a great week.